Back in July 2014, when we set off on the Siberia challenge, Vauxhall said to me, "We don't want you to go easy on these vehicles at all. We want to see them tested to their absolute limits." So we obliged. The challenge itself was going to be tough. What we're going to try and do is drive 3 new model Vivaro vans, 20,000 kilometres through 21 countries, from Europe's most westerly road in Southwest Ireland, all the way to Asia's most easterly and far eastern Siberia. That's 12,000 miles over roads, deserts, rivers, mountains, and sea. You don't set off on a trip like this without some pretty meticulous planning, so I assembled a team of people I knew I could trust, experienced specialists with an appetite for adventure. And we were joined by one guy I didn't know at all, Tony, part of the team who actually built the new Vivaro at the Luton factory. I'm Mac, and I was the leader of the expedition. I run an adventure company specialising in operating vehicles in the most extreme conditions. The rest of my team consisted of Rich, expedition doctor, Paul,
I'll get you a change, mate.
expedition mechanic, Rory, sound recordist, and Nick, cameraman. We didn't just want to showcase the new Vivaro, we also wanted to use the trip to change lives. The sad truth is that an eye-watering number of ex-service personnel encounter serious difficulty when they come back from war zones, be that physical injuries or psychological. So working with Help for Heroes, we selected 2 former soldiers that we thought could really benefit from a trip like this, Kez and Ian.
It's going to be tough because I don't usually go many places on my own, which sounds a bit silly being a grown man, but it's and coping with other people. I'm not very good with strangers, but having met them a few times now, we seem to be settling in quite well.
I was medically discharged with post-traumatic stress disorder. I think what sent me over the edge was 3 months in Afghan 2010. The injuries were just horrific, and to see them every day, it takes its toll on you after a while. I had a lot of flashbacks, a lot of memories, a lot of nightmares that I'm having to deal with at the moment, but this will be good for me. I just want to get going now, yeah.
So with the crew assembled, we started thinking about the vehicles. Vauxhall, though, were really keen that we didn't modify the vans beyond all recognition. They really wanted it to be a test of the standard vehicle. So in the end, we settled for only the bare essentials.
Well, the challenge for the vans is really going to be around the fact that they're a 2-wheel drive vehicle. And normally most people undertaking a trip like this would be in a properly prepared 4-wheel drive vehicle.
This is the stuff we're putting in the tyres. I've used it for the last 20 years.
I put mesh on the bumper and the grille, because if we have any stones that go inside the grille and damage the radiator, put a skid pan underneath the engine to protect the engine and sump.
We would be operating in extremely remote locations and had to consider every eventuality. So we loaded up the vans with equipment that would keep us alive, no matter what situation we found ourselves in. If it all starts to go wrong, we are carrying a lot of equipment, mainly recovery equipment. So we have chains to put on the tyres if there's a lot of mud. We have special tracks, max tracks, which you lay down and drive over them if there's very, very soft sections. We carry a lot of ropes, and we even have a demountable winch system that can go onto the rear of a vehicle and then pull others out of mud, or if they've come off the road.
The job of the doctor is preparation and risk reduction, and ideally you don't have to do much on the trip. I've got a pretty comprehensive trauma kit, and I've got enough with me that hopefully I can deal with most things that are thrown at me.
We'd done all we could. The crew were raring to go. The rest lay in the hands of fate. It was time to set off. If we were really going to test the vehicles, Mongolia and Siberia were the places to do it. There was no way the Vivaro would struggle with good quality roads and motorways, so we didn't waste any time getting across Western Europe. After passing through Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria, we entered Turkey and made it to Istanbul, where we crossed the Bosphorus into Asia. As predicted, this was where our progress slowed. Just gone past a police checkpoint. We got waved through. We just sort of gave a nice smile and went through. But unfortunately, car 2, they've got pulled over. So, yeah, they've got to try and blag their way out of this on their own without me being there to help them. Oh no, they got away with it. But you did the right thing though, hide the satellite phone. Don't talk on the radio. For safety, we had to carry a lot of high-tech equipment, such as satellite phones, GPS trackers, radios. However, in many of the countries we were going to, even sat-navs are illegal. So at every border, every police checkpoint, we had to hide everything. If they found it, we'd have a hell of a lot of questions to answer. We could even be accused of spying. Progress slowed even more when we reached the Caspian Sea. In that part of the world, you can't pre-book ferries. You just have to turn up, wait, and hope that they can squeeze you onto one of the ships. We waited with the vans at the front of the queue for 2 days before being led by a friendly local to a different ferry port, where we might have more luck. Thankfully, we did make it onto a ferry, but due to 37 other ships in front of us waiting to dock in Turkmenistan, our scheduled 12-hour crossing actually took 3 whole days. Still, we spent the time getting to know the crew, meeting some friendly American nuclear scientists, and sneaking down to the low levels to get food from our vans. The Americans had found a way through a little hole in the floor of the smoke-filled lorry parking area, down a greasy ladder into the hull of the ship, and that's where our vans were parked. The ship's kitchen was pretty limited, and the portions tiny, so boil-in-the-bag meals were our saviour. In fact, there wasn't much on that ship by the way of home comforts.
In the last 3 days, I haven't had the means to keep in touch with the wife, but when we get to the other side, I know we're in a hotel the first night, so I'll be able to contact her, and I'll feel a lot better in myself. Because after that, once we get into Mongolia and Siberia, we're not going to have the means to be in touch, but I think I'll cope. It'll be tough, but I'll get there.
Along the PTSD side of things, I haven't really had any flashbacks or nightmares, so it's been really good. I'm just hoping this carries on. I think because I've got a focus, I've got something else to think about instead of thinking about other things.
Eventually, we did make it off the ferry, but nothing could have prepared us for what we'd see on the other side. Driving through the sand in the middle of Turkmenistan, we came across 2 amazing sights. Firstly, a deep underground lake where we all went swimming. Local legend has it that swimming here cures all sorts of ills. And the second, the mind-blowing, incredible Devasa fire crater, where we stood for hours completely mesmerised. This is the Devasa gas crater, also known as Devil's Gate or the Hellhole of Creation. It was formed in the 1970s when engineers were looking for gas in this area, and they drilled a hole. There was an almighty explosion, and then this huge hole appeared, and it's been burning ever since. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
It looks like it's just rock burning. There's no reasonable way that this can be burning still after 30 years. It's just mind-blowing, mind-blowing.
We ploughed on through the desert and entered Mongolia, a country that is as wide as Europe. With hardly any tarmac roads and very few bridges, we had to tackle 1,200 miles of dirt tracks and countless rivers. All was going well until Kez got herself stuck in the gravel. Nothing that a tow rope can't solve, so on we went.
You let him walk with boots.
That's not my fault.
But then Paul, the mechanic, who definitely should have known better, must have had Vauxhall's parting words ringing in his ears when he decided to show off and plough into one river much faster than is sensible. He flooded the engine. Still, like a true mechanic, he had a great excuse.
I was testing the wading depth of the van.
It's testament to the vans that they can even withstand Paul showing off, and it didn't take long to sort it out.
So let's see if she actually starts. What can I say, man? Borrow, tough as nails.
Up onto higher ground and away from the water, the new challenge was muddy tracks. They were more like motocross tracks and roads and had potholes you wouldn't believe. The suspension was really being tested. In the back, things were flying all over the place, but somehow Nick managed to hold the camera relatively steady. But my goodness, roads like that would shake a lesser vehicle to pieces. Still, we were told to test the vehicle, and these were just the roads to do it. It's not always easy to judge which route through mud is going to be the hardest. On one occasion, I found myself getting deeper and deeper until the inevitable happened. I was marooned. Still, after seeing me get stuck, at least the other vans would know not to go the same way.
Why? I said to you on the radio, I said, don't do what I did because you're going to get stuck.
Listening.
It's your fault that you can't blame any of us.
So again, we pushed her out, and when we turned round after getting van 2 out, a grader had turned up and flattened it all down, so van 3 got an easy route again. They seem to get all the luck.
Still, at least the Chuckle Brothers enjoyed the show.
Well, you know, you start off putting some classical music on, and then you chill out. You sort of end up at the back of the convoy, trying to avoid all the dust of van 1 and 2. When did we arrived at the bloody... Oh, Mac was stuck, hey?
Yeah, I think that's...
Again, okay.
Yeah.
And then they're all trying to push. Well, that looked like hard work, so we gave up on that.
I took some photos.
That's right,
I took some photos, yeah.
And then the grader came around the corner. Oh, I'll just sit and wait for the grader to do the job.
And you follow the grader and, you know, everyone else is sweating. And...
It did cost us, though, Mars bar. It was worth it.
He appreciated it, I think. So that was
So,
our
you know,
morning.
yeah, stressful.
Van 3.
Moving into Siberia, the rivers became wider, the mud became deeper, and the roads became wetter. But Magadan, our finish line, kept getting closer. Magadan had been on the news in the UK because it had had 3 months' worth of rain in just one day. Evidence of this flooding was everywhere. It's really easy to see how inhospitable this part of the world can be, and why people genuinely don't try to take two-wheel drive vehicles down these roads. I'm still amazed by how well the vans handled it. I genuinely didn't think they'd find it so easy.
Well, what these tyres have gone through for this entire trip is pretty incredible. And this is our first puncture. But I am so impressed with these tyres. They have done an incredible job to now. And we've done, almost 60,000 kilometres between 3 vans. And this is our first tyre problem.
But it's not over until the team and the vans reach Magadan safely. And as expedition leader, I couldn't relax until we truly arrived.
Right guys, we have now driven 19,700 kilometres with 300 to go. Keep your spacing, let's make sure we all cross that finish line.
Eventually, we hit the tarmac road leading into Magadan. I was elated. There was just one last corner to turn.
Hey, we did it! Come here, big fella. Congratulations, guys!
Superb. Really elated.
Feeling brilliant!
Couldn't have done it without the new Vivaro though, they did all the hard work. Big thanks to Vauxhall, they got total trust in these vehicles. Toughest fans going, brilliant.
The team had performed brilliantly. Tony, the Vauxhall engineer, was invaluable and so laid back. I was so impressed with him. Kez and Ian had both had the experience of a lifetime, and they seemed like completely different people from the ones that had started the trip just 60 days earlier.
It's been a really good adventure, tremendous trip. Really enjoyed it thoroughly.
I don't want it to end. I'm having such a good time.
And my faithful expedition team had served me well yet again, making sure we were all kept safe, healthy, and having fun the whole way. It really was the experience of a lifetime, and I just want to do it all over again.
What an incredible achievement. Well done, guys.
Good experience, good team, good banter.
Met some good friends. Hope to keep in touch with most of them, if not all of them.
We'd reached the end of a genuinely life-changing adventure. We were tired, but the vans weren't. They'd performed impeccably, and we'd made it. Over 12,000 miles in 60 days, across 20 countries, through countless rivers, and who knows how many potholes. If Vauxhall want to see the Vivaro tested to its absolute limit, they'll have to throw a lot more at it than Mongolia or Siberia have to offer. The new Vivaro really is built to take it all.